Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Kelsey, and
that's
this is Dixie.
And we're Love Hut for Life. For 174 magical weeks, we've been traveling around the country making sawdust and digging holes.
A lot of how we fund those awesome adventures is helping other people with their home on wheel conversions. This is week 1 of this Texas Skoolie Build. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, be sure and comment below and hit those thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Oh, good morning, guys. We are waking up in Montgomery, Texas on morning 1206 on the road. And Shane has got a brand new project. This one is a little different than a lot of the projects that Shane has taken on before because it is already partially converted, and his job is to come in and bring it the rest of the way there. There he is, hard at work, ladies and gentlemen.
This is working. I'm trying to see the vision. Do you guys see the vision yet? Look at me. We had to make a few decisions today. When I got here, it appeared that these panels were going to be removed. All the bump stops along the bottom had been removed. A couple of the screws have been taken out. And this is wide open for tank storage. Our other options are on this side as well, back here. And then we have a small space between the frame rails before the gas tank. On this side, we have the exhaust from the axle back. And it looks like this side was in a bit of a collision there. But, to give you an example, we have this space, but there is a large air conditioner. That thing right there goes behind this grate, so that really limits how much tank we could put on this side. As you can see, there's about enough room for one tank. This bus's goal is to, yes, be off grid and travel, but it's not meant to be lived in full time. Mostly this bus is going to be used as a stationary home or Airbnb out on a property. So we've made the decision to fix some things. Ideally, you want all of your dump stations, so your gray water and your black water, to be on your driver's side because that's the way campgrounds are laid out. That's not really an option because I can't get both black and gray on this side of the bus. I can't drain across the bus because of a drive shaft and exhaust. So here's how I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna take out this toilet, take out this wall. I'm gonna take this couch, push it over here, because underneath this toilet is our axle, and that's a problem. So then I can mount the toilet further back with the couch pointing this way, and you'll have a nice scenic view from the couch with the TV mounted just to the side of it. And then I'll build in my shower. So what's gonna happen is all of the tanks are gonna be on the wrong side of the bus, which is gonna make dumping at a station a little bit tricky. You're gonna have to make sure you can get in backwards. But it being stationary and semi-permanently attached to a sewage system on site will not be an issue. So that's the route we're gonna take with this particular one. Yo, hang on, I gotta move some stuff around. Well, first up to bat was to getting that wall out of the way. There was 2 reasons for that. 1, it doesn't need to be there anymore. And 2, I had some water damage on this. So all of this white beadboard that's in here, it looks similar to what's on the outside of the Love Hut, except that is plywood. This is what is called MDF. I compare it to clipboard material is what I always call it. It's like one of those old brown clipboards. But it's good for wall covering and making wainscoting inside of homes. In this application, it was used in the bus as wall coverage, which is fine until moisture touches it. And apparently this window or this delete behind it has been leaking, and we can see here the discoloration shows me that there was a leak. These boards obviously tell me there was a leak, and it's actually still wet in here. So whatever it's been leaking has been leaking for a while. This bus has been sitting for quite a bit. So I'm gonna take out these pieces that have mold on them because they have no place in this bus. And I've got to find the leaks outside, which should be fairly simple to accomplish.
Guys, day one of building, and this thing is already looking so much different. He's got the skirting completely pulled off of this side. Hey babe, how you doing in there?
Quit looking up the bus's skirt and get in here.
Let's see what it looks like inside, guys. I think he's got some questions for me as far as layout goes. Hey, the couch moves. And we have walls, oh my.
Don't step on this stuff, it's important. See my strategic floor plan laid out here? All right, I do believe I got it figured out. Moved the bed over, I moved the wall over, and brought it back this way a little bit. Plenty of room here to mount a TV and do some storage. I've got this temporarily set up. This will be the bathroom. This is the door in between the tape and the corner, and it will be equal length to that, so I'm gonna make a little sliding door for it. In here, I did push the wall a little far past the latch, but that does allow you to pop it on this side and crawl out the other side. The toilet is now plumbed or in location to be plumbed properly. That'll be the placement of the sink. Obviously, it'll be a little higher, and this will be the shower with a curtain around it. If you come down the hallway this way, this will be the bed. So you'll have a slight passage to help make the corners easier. And then this whole area will be storage. That will be electrical, and this will be a storage trunk accessible from the backside. I also have some bed lifts that someone gifted me, so I think they'll be a good home in here. So I'll put that on, and then the whole decking will lift up so you can access all this storage as well as what's in those corners. Let me know what you think. I've got the skirting off the bus so I can start getting a better fitment of these tanks. I just couldn't really crawl underneath it very well. So that's gonna be our freshwater tank. This is our black water, and then our gray water will follow suit right after it, and then our propane tank will go here. Hello, oh my goodness, hello! Are you so happy to be here?
Good morning.
I think Dixie likes buses.
How's it going in here?
Great! I'm about to start making sawdust. We're gonna start building the bed first, and then the bathroom will come last. We'll see what it looks like by the end of the day, huh? We might have to go to the store.
I think she'll be okay with that. She's got lots of energy this morning.
I'll give you something to inspect later, Dixie, don't worry. Well, February in Texas. It's hot enough for these little fellers to come out. You gonna help me build?
Whoa. You've been a busy boy today.
I have. Running out of time though in daylight. We need to go to town.
Yeah, I've got the Love Hut all packed up and ready to go so that we can go and get some supplies.
You do? Well, thank you. No work for me?
No work for you. Not till tomorrow. See you then.
Does it smell good? Oh my goodness, can you smell the crawfish? Oh, no, it's so good.
She's not the only one excited, guys. Being this close to the border means we get mud bugs. Oh, yes. Oh, that looks good, guys. Success. Oh, yeah, that hurts a little bit.
That little shit was hot. They put something in there.
Goodness.
Goodness.
Goodness is what they put in there, y'all.
Dixie wants some goodness.
Sorry, puppy.
So it's 6:30 in the morning. I ordered supplies from a big box store and had them delivered out here to the property. They said they could be here at 6 a.m. and I really thought that was a joke. But he called and woke me up. We're gonna get some more done today. I just could not fit that stuff inside of the love hut. Well, I got in here this morning and continued my framework. This is gonna be the inside of the bathroom. So the shower is gonna go here where my drill is sitting, and our little sink is gonna go here. And you can see the bed I got built yesterday behind it. I'm not gonna attach it until I get everything else in place because I might need to move it around for any rooftop access. But it eventually will be anchored to this wall as well. So I'm not really capable of hitting a lot of the ribs in the ceiling because it's already done. So this wall predominantly is just anchoring to this wall and then the floor, and then it'll be anchored to itself as I build it. It'll still be perfectly strong, just built a little differently.
Meanwhile, I have my own projects going on. As you can see, one rock tumbler is going. I think I may have used this other one to its fullest extent. That's okay though. We'll be able to open that one up on Friday. I also have a whole bunch of quartz crystals that have been soaking in water and iron out, and it's time to get them out and see what they look like. All right, guys, as you can see, while the iron out does a really good job of getting all of that red mud out of the crystals, it does tend to leave this really strange black residue. I've noticed that happens whether you're using a plastic bucket or a metal bowl. It's just kind of part of it. So we're gonna soak these for a little bit in just pure water, and then we'll be able to get an idea what they actually look like. But you can already see some of these are really, really awesome. Dixie wants the world to know the FedEx van has arrived with more supplies. Everything's showing up today.
I thought I'd show you guys something else. So in the big pile of supplies, I found puck lights, and one can assume that puck lights are gonna go on the ceiling, right? Just like everybody else's puck lights. We do have these factory bus lights, which I really like. That means you can flip the switch when your bus is on and you can have lights through the bus. But I start to plan out where my puck lights are gonna go. But first, I wanted to inspect the ceiling to know what I'm getting into. And unfortunately, it's gonna be a bit of an issue. So this is the same MDF product as what's on the wall. It's just got a different finish to it. This looks like aged pallet wood kinda, and that's a B-board wainscoting design. But I digress. Back behind it, we have foam board, which is awesome. And unfortunately, we have bad news behind that. That foam board was laid up against the stock ceiling of the bus. So that means puck lights are not gonna work. Maybe I can get them in these channels. I'm a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. Look, there goes the parts ferry. Thanks, see you tomorrow.
Hey Shane, what are you doing up there?
Finding surprises.
Good surprises?
Maybe. For a point of reference, that's our emergency door being open, so the opening into the bedroom is just there. So this is basically right on top of our shower. And what we have going on here is a complete separation of the vent. I'm surprised that it hasn't leaked yet, but it definitely will. That and the locking mechanism, this little red knob, none of that is functioning either, so it was just kind of closed. I do suggest this go ahead and be removed, and we used one of the pieces of steel that was a window delete to go over the top of it, and we get it all patched up properly. That being said, we gotta inspect this one too. So I've made me a little workbench over here in kind of the shade, and I'm putting these feet on these solar panels, and I kind of wanted to share some information with y'all. These are what's called a Z-bracket, and as you can see, I've got this one installed. There's holes on these panels that will line up with the bracket as well. I'm putting them on the ends because of the way I'm going to be installing them on the roof. I need the feet on this side. These will hold something onto the roof, but you have to realize once you use this type of hardware, which is what comes with them, you take it and you screw directly through your roof into metal or plywood, whatever you're going to be installing it into. Something particular happens, and that's you have to seal it, and that prevents you from being able to remove these panels without removing your installation up there, which is not ideal. Also, when you're using this type of hardware and you run it straight through the skin of a school bus or the skin of a van or the top of a love hut, whatever that may be, it's best to have something on the back side of that skin that this can grab into to create a clamping effect, or just to use actual bolts and nuts. With what I'm going to be doing, these are going to be resting on top of unistruts, so they're going to have their own bolts in these, which in essence will allow these panels to be able to be slidden back and forth up and down the channels of the unistrut. A much better way to install, but it doesn't always work with every shaped school bus. This particular one, if you guys can see, is rather flat roofed, so these panels are going to sit beautifully on top of it. She's just got to teach Dixie to sing next. Let me show you guys where these panels are going to go. That's my wall I got finished with today. I had the shower pan out earlier, but it was more for test fitting. It's not mounted yet. I won't be putting that in until the end. But I kind of have to stop structurally because I got to get these solar panels mounted. I always call this playing chess. You got to make all the right moves at the right times. If you mess up the order of operations, then you have to go back. And we don't want to do that. This bus particularly is super flat. I'm loving it. All of my panels are going to be able to fit between where I'm at and that first emergency hatch, which I'm going to be removing and putting a steel plate over it as well, because there's a ceiling underneath it, so it's absolutely useless to us. It's better just to delete it and not worry about leaks than have the potential of a leak forming from a plastic roof hatch being ripped off and you never even knowing that it happened. We'll get some more done to it tomorrow, I promise.
And chicken tortellini for dinner. I believe Dixie might want some.
Are you hungry? Has she been starving you to death? Poor dog. Good morning, you big yellow submarine. Y'all come on in and let's talk about some things. Ooh. So, I've been tasked with doing something a lot of times we don't do when we're converting school buses, and that's leaving this functional. For any of you that are thinking about doing this, this particular hole in the roof is a very expensive hole. To replace this whole thing is about 500 bucks to get a new one. That's why a lot of us end up plating over them and putting vent fans in them. To replace it with an RV hatch or marine grade hatch, it's about the same price. So I was able to find a new door because this mechanism is not functioning. It's broken. Someone got a little aggressive with it. I found a whole new door because I couldn't find this mechanism. And I've got it on the way, so this will still be functional. There's another hatch that's somewhere over the bathroom. It's been covered, and I'm gonna be plating over it up there. I have some extra window delete panels, and I'm gonna use one of those to just cover it up to prevent any leaks from coming through the roof. Because if it were to leak, it would be disastrous. Let's get some stuff done today.
Oh, guys, it is a nice 84 degrees outside, and I am super pumped to be cleaning up these crystals that we actually found in the snow and ice just a couple of weeks ago. It's a much warmer day, and these are looking a whole lot prettier. Check it out, guys. There's a little bit more quartz rock in there than we had hoped for, but that's to be expected with as hard as the clay was that day. But there are certainly a lot of really, really beautiful crystals in here. So awesome. And I'm also taking advantage of the shop sink in here to wash some of the seashells from Texas and Louisiana. There's so many of them, but they still smell like the Gulf. So before I can do anything cool with them in the Love Hut, we gotta let them soak in Dawn for a little bit. Hopefully getting all of that nasty smell out. Guys, there's so many. It comes to here on this sink. It's a bit absurd, I know. We'll find something cool to do with them though. Hey, what are you doing down there?
Oh, turning this bus saintly. Cutting holes in it, it's holy.
I guess you're underneath where the toilet goes right now?
I am right here. This is where the pooper's gonna be. So the black tank has got to be mounted here. And what I'm doing is what is known in the school bus world a no-weld tank hanging system. I don't weld. So the process is basically you take unistrut or super strut as they call it, and generally this is used for creating big electrical box structures and holding it up, and it's used in a commercial industrial building. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these, bolt them to the frame rails, and there'll be 2 to 3 per tank, and then we use a thread awl or threaded rod to go down to another one underneath, and we'll have a wood deck that the tank sits on. It's gonna be awesome. Well, howdy, this is a messy experience. As you can see, I'm covered in a very sticky black substance. So they spray the underside of some of these buses. This particular one is sprayed quite well with this rubberized coating. And what I'm doing is scraping it off. You can see where I cleaned the wrong member here. And then I am bolting this unistrut to this rib. It's actually it's angle iron instead of tubing. It kind of looks like tubing from this direction. You clearly live the van life. I said you clearly live van life, doing your yoga outside of your domicile. I'm away from the road, though. So I think I made more of a mess today than I did create anything. I'm starting a lot of projects at one time because I'm waiting on delivery trucks to show up with supplies, and there's supplies coming from every direction. So I kind of just have to do what I can until the stuff gets here. Let's take a gander up here. I wanted to go ahead and attach these rails. They're fairly in their place, but we're going to be putting a tropical coating. Henry's makes tropical, and it's an elastomeric siliconized coating that I'm going to be painting all across the top of this bus. I'm also removing this emergency hatch and putting a panel over it. So I want to wait to drill these holes for these unistruts that our solar panels are going to be attaching to, because I don't want there to be water running into those holes when I'm cleaning the roof, because I'm going to clean it with bleach. Because as you can see, there's quite a bit of algae. It's been parked under these trees for a couple years, it looks like. And then, oh, these ladders are terrifying. If you thought about buying one, they work, but boy, they are not meant for someone of my size. This is going to be our propane tank that we're going to be mounting right next to our gray tank. The black tank is going here. I started mounting struts along the bottom ribs there today. And I also came in here and just went ahead and tore down everything that I built. I like the way I built it. I built it to remove because I was afeared this was going to happen. So it's all going to go back in. I didn't glue it as I built it. When I rebuild it, I will glue it. I had to take down ceiling panels. So I had 2 of them that I had to remove, and it's these. Because our bolts for our solar panels have to be installed from the inside of the rib. This one still has its skin on it. So the bolts are going to sit on the exterior of the skin. You can see a little skin there, but I'll just cut out a hole where the drill bit comes through, run my bolt up, bolt on the unistrut, and then I'll rehang these panels and you won't see the hardware, which is ideal in my opinion. I also found this today, and this is the cutout for that emergency hatch up there. So I'm going to be putting that patch up there, and then I think I'm going to remove this and box it in so it makes it a little easier to stand in the shower, which conveniently is directly below it. I didn't mean to do that. The bus gods told me that's what's happening. Tomorrow, it'll look different. Hopefully I build some stuff tomorrow and quit tearing things apart. Check out my router table. I don't have a router table. I do have to build one today because I've got to process a lot of cedar boards to make the shower, and I need to route the side of them. But for today, I am waiting on parts, so I don't really have a lot to do today. And I'm working on making a prototype light fixture. So this is our normal puck light. This one's actually pretty cool. It has a rocker in it, so you can point the beam, which I do like. And these are also DC and AC, so you could wire them up, I assume, with some sort of step down. But I found them in a box, so it's what I'm going to be using. But the way our ceiling is built, I can't just stick these up in there because this is too thick to fit between the MDF and the metal ceiling of the bus. So I'm working on routing a little light fixture, if you will, for these to drop into. I'm doing it with plywood right now, and I'm gonna have to change the type of wood because plywood doesn't really route out very well. I think it's gonna be cute. What do you think, Kels?
Adorable.
Hey Dixie, where's Mom? Are you pooping in here?
No, I'm playing with seashells. Come look.
I forgot about all these. These came from not very far away from here, actually.
Look at that massive one.
I do believe that one's from Louisiana. I've had them in a bag in the truck. I assume they kind of smelled funny.
Yeah, they definitely smelled funny, and they kind of still do. So we're gonna soak them one more time, but then I think they might be ready to do something cool with.
Are they going in the love hut?
Some of them, yes.
Not all of them?
Not all of them. You picked up a lot of seashell, Shane. I'm thinking really hard about pairing some of the smaller ones with crystals. What do you guys think? With some copper wire wrapped around it in an artful way, would you wear that as a necklace? I think they're pretty cool.
Good morning, everybody. I was up early today. The parts ferry showed up at about 7:30 this morning, so I had to get that lumber moved inside the big red barn over there. As you can see, the skies are looking a bit angry in Texas. It looks like it's going to be missing our region for the most part, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm still waiting on another truck to show up, but I've got some stuff I can do, and I want to show you what I'm doing. A few days ago, I went ahead and marked with a very long drill bit from up here as well as down there. I drilled all the way through to where my black tank is going to be mounted underneath the floor here, which is kind of hard to guess when you're just inside. It takes a bit of figuring. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to cut this very large hole into the floor so this toilet flange can mount into the floor, and then I'll run my PVC pipe down from it directly into the black tank, because with this style toilet, ideally you want your drain line to go straight down into the tank. You don't want it to have to go through a maze of piping like you would in a residential toilet, because these flush with as little water as possible, so you don't really have anything to carry the solids to the tank. You need them to drop. So I'm gonna cut a big hole in this thing. Y'all hang on. I need both hands. Boom. Got it knocked all out. I did want to show you the importance of using tongue and groove style plywood when you're doing your subfloor. This particular bus, they did not do a grid work underneath the floor, which I generally like to do because then I can brace where I'm going to be putting things. But that only works if you really know your floor plan quite well. What I like to do, and with these types of floating floors where you're just putting foam down and then you put tongue and groove plywood over it instead of using OSB, which they do make it in tongue and groove as well, but that OSB is really going to absorb some moisture over the years, so you want to have the best foundation possible. I like to run the stripping along the side of the bus, and there's metal rib work in here. As you can see, it follows all the way up this beam into the ceiling. The ribs go all the way around the bus. I like to anchor into the floor and then through to my steel ribs, but that creates a sturdy base when there's no grid work underneath. Let's get this flange mounted. All right, I'm up on top of the bus now. As you can see, it's got a lot of algae growing on it. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting back these trees, which is a large cause of this algae. And then I'm going to be spraying it down with bleach water. And I've got myself a little garden sprayer because I don't have a hose pipe that'll reach over there to the barn. So I got to make do with what I got. And then I'll scrub it and spray it down again. I'm hoping that the rain that's coming is going to help me out a little bit. This will be fun. All right. I'm very happy that these boots are slip resistant because this is all bleach water. I've hand scrubbed the entire roof of this thing. There was a lot of algae up here. Unfortunately, this little pressurized garden sprayer would have been awesome, except it showed up broken, and I unfortunately had to get the job done today because I'm hoping that the thunderstorm coming tonight is going to wash all this off. If not, I'll have to go buy another one. Okay, now it's time to get off of here. Will you hold this ladder? I don't want to die.
I don't want you to die either, Shane.
Okay, let's not die together. Y'all, I have never been so excited to find a hose pipe in my lifetime. Check it out, I got it all hosed off. We'll let the rain give it a good rinsing tonight as well, and then I'll come back tomorrow and hopefully sand it all down and start getting my first coat of Tropicool up here. I'm gonna put at least 2. I had to get a 5-gallon bucket. I'm about done. Are you about done? We gotta.
Yeah, I think it's time to eat, babe.
It is time to eat. There's thunderstorms coming. We gotta hide.
I hope the roof is fixed.
Me too. Ooh. Looks like a spaceship from up here. Good morning, you big yellow thing. Everything looks like it held together overnight. Fortunately, the severe storms kind of hit north of us, so we didn't really experience too much here, and I'm very happy about that. Let's check out our roof. Oh. Boy, they look so much better when they're clean. Today I'm going to be sanding or scuffing up this surface because I'm going to be adding Henry's Tropicool to this roof. I'm also going to rip out that there emergency hatch and put a steel plate over it. Good thing it's a pretty day.
And while he's doing that, it's time for me to crack this tumbler open and see what's inside. And move the barrels over from this broken one over to that one so that we can see them next week. Nice, guys. We've got some beautiful purple pastelite and laced agate, fire agates in here too. They've still got one more round, but they'll have to wait on the other one. So you will see the finished product of these in 2 weeks. So awesome.
All right, got the whole thing sanded down. Now it's time to do something with these emergency hatches. Let's talk about them for a minute. These things are intended to be able to be ripped off the top of this bus quite easily to save the kids inside. So they're actually quite delicate. A lot of times they break somewhere around this area. I've seen this mechanism break as well. There's a lot of ways for them to break because they're all plastic. It wouldn't take much just to rip it off at the top of the bus. I'm going to be removing this one. This particular style, I thought it was riveted on, but that's incorrect. It appears that it's just glued on in essence. So I'm going to be using my multi-tool and I'll go around the perimeter of it and remove the adhesive. And then I'll take the whole thing out and then we'll put a steel plate over it. I'm going to be saving this because I can save the hinges off of this and I'll leave it for the bus owner in case there's ever any problems with that front one. And just like that, there she goes. As you can see, it was just butyl tape holding this thing on. Quite impressive. Another thing I wanted to show y'all, I talked about how the stock ceiling was in this bus. And you can see a piece of it here with the foam. So it looks like the first step was to remove this. This is what I call one of the good ones. It's kind of a cheese grater design, so it has a bunch of holes in it. And then it's basically screws that hold it to the ribs of the bus. So they dropped the ceiling down and they repacked it with insulation. And then they put the ceiling up, which makes it super simple to attach any sort of ceiling covering because it's just thin metal with a bunch of holes in it. So finding a place to run a screw through it, it's very simple. Really cool way of doing things if you get lucky enough to get a bus that still has this type of ceiling versus the ones that they riveted together. All right, I got it all patched up. As you can see, I just put the steel plate down. So what I used are these type of hardware. They have a little neoprene rubber type washer on them. I bought these bulk at a hardware store. There's several different name brands you can buy. What their purpose is attaching tin roofs like that one over there. So if you're screwing down into steel beams, this goes through the tin into the beam, and then this little washer there helps make it waterproof. But we're gonna just take it a step further than that because that's what bus life is about. And I will be using this Henry's Tropicool sealant. So it bonds perfectly with the roof treatment that I'm adding on as well. Well, the sun's going down on this bus, and it's the end of our week. Sorry, y'all, I didn't finish it for you. But I do want to show you what I did do today. It's kind of a short day of work, unfortunately. I started lining out these rails today as well. I got one bolt in place, but it was too long of a bolt, so I had to wait on new bolts to get here. I got my delete put in, and I put that hardware all the way around, and then I used my sealant here to go ahead and seal it all up. I'll be painting over the whole thing, obviously, so you won't even see what I've done. There's the one we removed, and this is the one we're keeping. I went ahead and ran some screws through this metal or this plastic shroud because there's really nothing holding this thing on except for butyl tape. So I don't really like that for this application. My new door is on its way, so we'll have that taken off, and I'll paint over this as well. So make sure y'all come back next week to see what I do up here, including bolting solar panels on, as well as what I build inside. The bathroom is going to be coming together next week. See y'all then.
Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am certainly impressed with all of the work that Shane is accomplishing, and as always, cannot wait to see the final results. We want to take the time to say thank you to each and every one of you who have been following us along this far. This channel could not be here without you.
If this is the first time you've seen one of my builds, go back into our history and check it out. I've done several over the years, as well as you can join some of our other social media like Facebook and Instagram. You can even direct message us there, or you can send us a good old-fashioned email if you're trying to get a hold of us at lovehubforlife@gmail.com.
We'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Have a good one.
Bye, y'all.